What's good, everybody? Back with another retrospect of anime. We're going to be talking about this last season that just happened, being the summer 2021 season of anime. And yeah, boy, it's been quite interesting. Me and my relationship with anime this season has just been, it's been weird if I really think about it. I feel, but you know, there's been some good shows. I can't say there's been anything that was just like wow, but it wasn't a bad season. So what I'm going to do is just kind of start going through what I have here on Mal, and then we'll double check to see if there is any other things left over from the spring that premiered late on Funimation, since that's what I mainly use to watch my anime. But yeah, so one of those shows being affected by that, it happens to be the Reincarnated as a Slime, season 2 part 2. So that I'm still in the middle of watching, since only the dub is on Funimation right now and it's still not completed yet. But so far, it's getting to the point where they're finally getting ready to go against Clayman, and I'm excited to see how that's going to develop. But so far, just seeing all the political talks and developments that way has been still pretty interesting. Just seeing that bit of world building in the show has been really fun, and I'm really excited to see how the battles to come are going to end up unraveling. But it's great to see that it's the simulcast for the dub is finally up and going. I think we're only about like 3 or 4 episodes in right now. So yeah, so far so good. Kobayashi Dragon Maid S, the second season. Happy to have it back again. This is another one that is being delayed for me, since I'm watching it dubbed and they don't have the sub up on Funimation. And so far, it is still also really fun. Really love this show. More and more of what I love from this. Just a lot of heart, building these relationships, including with the new dragon we got in, and just seeing them getting into more fun antics together, and it's been beautiful. And plus they already got to show off the quality animation that KyoAni always has. So it's been great. Next one I'm going to get into is The Detective is Already Dead. This show, man, it kind of started off like cool and then not cool, as many people have stated on the YouTube, but I still continue to watch it throughout. It was just a lot of really weird, convoluted mysteries, and the way it's told, story like timeline wise, is also kind of confusing, because there's times when it's like, okay, this is present time, okay, now we're going to the past, and then it's like, wait, was part of it a dream, part of it's not a dream, and it just got really confusing. And so that kind of docked my enjoyment of the show, because I could kind of like take it as like popcorn anime, but I did eventually get to the point where like, this is just ridiculous, but I'm almost done with the season, so I'm gonna just go ahead and finish it out. And so that's what I did, but didn't end up ranking it very high at all. Next one is the Case of Venetas. So this show was really fun, dealing with vampires and the curse bearing vampire things that are plaguing them and their place in society, alongside humans as they try to coexist. Really interesting. Beautiful. Beautiful animation in this one, and I like the world building they have in it too, as they're like in Paris and also like an alternative Paris for the vampire side of the world. Really interesting. Really curious to see how that's going to develop. So hopefully they get a second season for that. The next show is how the Realist hero rebuilt the kingdom. This show was just fun to watch. I really enjoyed seeing just kind of the whole politics of it. More good world building once again. I literally just finished watching the final episode, and yeah, I think it's very cool to see, even though it's probably, well, it is very vastly oversimplified, but still just kind of getting to the politics and logistics of how to really rebuild a kingdom from an economic logistics standpoint, the transportation, goods, food supply, work, and debts that they may owe to other countries. Just seeing how that all plays out, and then even like a little mini war art part 2 was really fun. It was just a fun watch, and I think they announced that there's going to be a second season of that, so I am looking forward to it. The next show we'll be talking about is Sunny Boy. This show, mad weird, really just philosophical, and I was just like, bro, they're really trying to take some really abstract things and ideas and kind of put them into visual format and dialogue and such. And so it was interesting to watch some episodes, and other episodes a little confusing and just kind of like, this wasn't as exciting as an episode, or I'm just kind of lost. But just seeing how it was put onto the screen the way it was still pretty to watch, with its interesting art style, and then just the different this worlds were fun to kind of explore, and just the idea behind it was interesting. Not bad though. I definitely had to rewatch a couple of episodes due to just kind of getting lost and falling asleep. So I'd have to go back, rewatch it, and be like, oh, okay, I kind of get it now. But yeah, next show we're going to end up talking about is The Duke of the Death and His Maid. This show was just cute. It was just cute. I loved this thing. It was very interesting, just kind of seeing how the relationship continues to grow between the two titular characters, and kind of the world with the different witches and stuff, and seeing how they're trying to figure out how to break this curse, and then just there it's just cute the way basically the maid almost sexually harasses her master, but it's still just cute because they really do like each other, so it's really not too much of harassment, but it's, you know what I mean. It's very interesting, just thinking of how tough it would be if the one that you love you can't touch, or they'll die. That's just crazy. But really cute show. I really enjoyed watching that. Next one we're going to talk about is the Dungeon of the Black Company. This show was just fun. It was wild. It was a wild ride. Just so many antics in this isekai, and just seeing how Ninomiya dealt with all of the nonsense that he was put through, being thrust into this magical world and forced into labor, and how he tries to get himself back into a point where he can just live the easy life. And he definitely went through a lot to get there, while being kind of a hateable a-hole through the whole thing, but he was able to get there, and it was fun to watch him get to that point. So it was a very entertaining, kind of trash isekai. I can't say Japanese words today, but yeah, that was fun. Scarlet Nexus is one that I just had to drop. It just started getting too weird, too boring, and it's just like, okay. The world at first was interesting me, but yeah, no more. Can't watch this anymore. Magicka record, for Madoka Magicka, the side story. So this, I was surprised to find out that it was only 8 episodes, so that was kind of annoying to find out. But it still was a nice watch, and just to see the main cast from Madoka Magicka come in to this side story finally, was really great. And man, they continue to world build, man, and just seeing them explain some of the new powers, and how these relationships all intertwine, and the art style is still just very pretty and interesting to look at, and yeah, I'm curious where they're gonna end up going, because they definitely can't end it where they ended it today, 8 episodes in. Because if they do really do end what the story they're telling here, then that's going to be annoying. I'm wondering how it's going to be like when Walpurgis Nacht comes. Are we getting the return of that, because it was brought back up in this? But yeah, the huge battles that ended up occurring, and seeing just the follow-up of what happened in the first season was really interesting to watch. But it's definitely still a lot of characters to keep track of now. A lot. But yeah, still was it quite an enjoyable watch for me. Next up, we'll talk about My Hero Academia 5th season. So this season was pretty cool. Going in through to the training arc with the work studies was really great. The story with Endeavor and his family dynamic changing throughout it was really nice. And then the My Villain Academia section was also pretty interesting as well. Just kind of getting to know a little bit more behind Shigaraki, and also all the some of the characters around him in the League of Villains, how they ended up battling the Liberation Front, and all that good stuff. That was pretty fun to watch and see how their powers develop, and now we're getting to it's finally getting to the point where the Class A's getting ready for their second year. They're finally made a full year. Like when they mentioned that it was finally a full year for them, I was like, this much happened in just 1 year? That's insane. They went through hell and back. Sheesh. That's a lot to happen in just 1 year. But yeah, really interested to see where this is going to end up continuing, especially since I've heard from a couple of manga readers that it's going to still continue to get even more interesting, which is good, because I really like the show. It's a really fun watch. Just a straight up good shonen. Alright, so now I'm going to take a quick look at what came out from spring, to double check there wasn't any dubs that I was watching that came out earlier, but I don't think there really is. Checking. Oh, Zombieland Saga Revenge. This is also currently airing. It hasn't completely finished, the dub that is, but it's great to see the show continue. Just a lot more cool antics to see them continue to develop as idols, and how they end up recovering after a failed show. Just fun to see them continue to explore the different things that can happen to the characters as they still struggle with being a zombie and an idol. They definitely come to terms with being zombies. So now it's a little bit more focused on how they're trying to grow as idols, and still hide the fact that they're zombies. That twist makes it interesting enough, since I am not always the quickest to jump on idol shows. It's not one of the ones not one of the styles I gravitate towards. Oh, I'm surprised this didn't show up there. Blue Reflection Ray. So, during the first half of this show, I thought it was really, really interesting, just kind of seeing them dealing with the whole magical girl and protecting feelings, dealing with the emotions of all these young girls, and just seeing the relationships between the characters and those who may be good, may be bad, as they struggle with learning how best to deal with emotions, whether they should protect them or get rid of them, was really great. But the second half, it really became really tough to continue to watch. Was ended up falling asleep a lot. I feel even more dialogue heavy than before, and just a lot of but this is the right thing to do. No, that's the wrong thing to do. Oh, you make me upset because you did this and I didn't agree with your choice. It's just kind of a lot of that. You do get some more backstory on some of the characters, and then including the main villain. But eventually, at the end, everything gets resolved in a way that seems fitting for the show. But it just kind of feels like, well, I knew it had to eventually conclude here, so it wasn't entirely interesting how it got there. But I got to the end, and I would say that it was I didn't rate it super high. But I think that does finally conclude all the shows that I ended up watching for summer 2021. Tell me what you guys think of some of the other shows that were showing. I do want to mention that I still have yet to finish off the second part of the new season of Seven Deadly Sins on Netflix, because I think it just released this weekend, so I still have to finish that. But other than that, tell me what are some of the other shows that you've been enjoying from the summer season that just concluded. Tell me down below. I do have a Crunchyroll account that I don't use. Should I be using it to watch some of those shows? Let me know down below. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button if you're on the YouTube, and subscribe for more reactions and reviews. And yeah, that's gonna be all. Until next time, much love, peace.